any original documents, period. They will give you certified copies, you will pay them, and they will still maintain that straw. Now, Smith, Jones, Johnson, Frederick, and all those other European, German names belong to Europeans. And you can't turn around and copyright them and then argue that it is not you, but yet you're the representative for it. Because he created it, and they didn't invite you on the board. Because they created it, and they didn't invite you on the board. In other words, like this, if you create a corporation, if you, anyone here creates a corporation, for someone to be a surety holder or trustee on the board regulating, that's called will and intent. And in law, that's a crime. Even if you never get a penny. Why? Because soon as a counterclaim is made, and you try to counter a claim on this so-called straw, the first thing they're going to say when you get up there, oh, these are all capital letters, is that you? And you're going to say, no, that ain't me. But I'm a representative for it. Oh, you are? Did you create that? No. That's a European name, and they ain't really mine. They made it to make money off of me. Oh, there's an XRL relationship with you and this one? Yeah, I went down there and I filed this paper with the county. See it, here it is, my contract. UCCs, I own this. It's called theft. Because you didn't write Billie Jean, and don't go, because it ain't yours. Now, if it's not you, which you just said, you can't seek a benefit. Yeah, but the reason I did it, see, because they're getting a benefit off of me. Well, is that you or is it ain't you? That's a straw. Meanwhile, you just enriched the state. That's one of the biggest incomes they got coming across this country right now. People filing UCC-1 liens. And they're taking the finance because they already know upon a counterclaim you ain't going to win. Now, and not only that, they're taking the birthright, the nationality papers, and mixing them and filing with it.
Yep, that's true.
Now that means commerce, isn't it? So commerce is trade, right? That's called slave trade. And you just do it yourself. So, and then you got appropriate persona, so that means you ain't stupid. You're more responsible now than you was when you were stupid. Because before you had an argument, now you ain't. Because you're saying, oh, I'm mature now, I got this covered. Oh, yeah. And I'm only throwing that at you because you already know the confusion with the use of UCCs that's going around and people making big money selling UCC packages. Well, we're going to sell you sovereignty. You can't sell unalienable rights and then you commercialize it, which makes it alienable because you just transferred it to another, and then argue on the other hand that you have the right unalienable. Duh. It's called conflict of law, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, not complicated, is it? But when people get emotional, they can quickly get deceived by it. However, it doesn't mean you don't use UCCs. It means you use UCCs to get back in constitutional principles when you sign. You
break that down.
Yes.
You use UCC in the signature of contract to get back into the constitutional fold where the security is. That secures the right, but you must have the right in the first place. Now you must be in appropriate persona because court is not just a room. Court is society. You know what I mean? Now, so if it's anything that you file, it's not a motion, affidavits of fact. They put them on notice that you're not Negro, you're not their property, etc., etc. You're not asking them, you're telling them. Right? Now, so the deal of it is, Constitution keeps them in check. Their job is, because they're corporate occupiers, they take an oath on the Constitution to deceive the people that get deceived. 1854, 63, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So they're operating under color. And all they have to do is put enough, quote unquote, black leaders or agents amongst you, keep on pushing that black thing and people of color thing that push you right into the commercial aspect of the U.S. Democracy Corporation, which is not the United States Republic. You understand what I'm saying? Now, if there's a claim that's to be made or anything that's to be litigated in a common law venue, logically it has to come under an Article 3 court, right? So if somebody's countering you, if you got a claim and someone makes a counterclaim, right, for it to be adjudicated properly, it's still got to come to an Article 3 court, right? So because the colorable jurisdictions don't have the jurisdiction, because remember, when they try to use the argument to justify the UCCs, they talk about the war powers, right? And they're Trading with the Enemy Act, and about Roosevelt and Mason doing the thing in March the 6th, right? And then March the 9th when they verified and actually got inaugurated. March. So let's look at this. In war, the ruling body of any government must put in place remedy. And in war, as a jurisdiction dealing with booty and prize, since they're talking about admiralty and maritime powers being brought onto the land, a jurisdiction must be established. Now, yes, Mark, and if we talk about reprisals or stealing booty, they have to have a jurisdiction to regulate that, right? Well, Congress assigned that jurisdiction to district court. District court is Article 3. So even there, you have a right of mandamus if they even argue these issues in a lower court. So they still don't have it. And so what happens is you have a lot of people keep arguing, trying to figure out how to use UCCs to argue the issue in a jurisdiction or in a lower court, and the jurisdiction has already been assigned to a district court. So there's no precedent that needs to be set. We need to do what Raleigh said, enforce the Constitution. You know what I mean? Now, logically, if you see people waking up and you're a beneficiary of their ignorance, put UCCs or anything else out there and make them think that the sovereignty is over there because you're distracting them from the Constitution to which these people are bound. They're not bound to do UCCs. That's rules of contracting. They don't have to contract with you just like you ain't got a contract with them. Well, they didn't take an oath on that. They took an oath on that Constitution. You see? Now they can trick you to get your mind diverted. That makes you think you can buy the sovereignty that already exists with you. You understand? Under any other auspices, because even the Constitution don't give it to you. It only secures it. But if you step outside of that, which is what they want you to do, then they got you, because they got that deck. And it's marked from day one. So I want to throw that at you to keep in mind also why the flags are in place. And also why Masons hide that at that point.
What's interesting is that the Congress is about the UCC for the general people, but you've been saying this for like 30 years.
Yeah.
Exactly what you just said.
That's why even when I was teaching Valor, that's why I pulled them back and stopped pushing them, because I saw people were starting to misuse them.
But if you go to the local UCC offices, like here in Delaware, we have 4.
They have
brochures that tell you this is not the law.
It's the church.
They tell you.
It's the Roman Catholic Church. It's a branch of the church.
And they tell you that.
Finish, make
And then on the brochures, they tell you, apply this to the Constitution. It's on all of it.
Now, Smith, Jones, Johnson, Frederick, and all those other European, German names belong to Europeans. And you can't turn around and copyright them and then argue